Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 102 of PD's Awesome Guest Panel. I can't believe I reached the triple digits. I didn't think I was going to reach a single digit, let alone three. Now, before I introduce tonight's special, iconic, legendary guest star here tonight, I would like to introduce tonight's co-host for this evening. First off, I would like to welcome back, of course, Power Ranger enthusiast Michael Bragdon.
How you guys doing, everyone?
So good to see you again, Michael.
Glad to be back.
Love you, bro. I would also like to introduce tonight's special guest co-host, Tyrone Skyberg.
What's up, guys?
Good to see you again, Tyrone.
Same here.
I would also like to introduce returning guest co-host, Callie Swenson.
Hey, back for number 3.
Now to introduce one of my main co-hosts, Power Ranger enthusiast, and from jolly old England, Mr. Kwame Jacobs.
Glad to be back.
Glad to see you here, buddy. And of course, my best friend and fellow co-host, Christopher Petey.
Heyo, good to be here.
Good. Likewise with everyone else. It's so good to have you guys back. Now to introduce tonight's special co-host, let me just say that this woman is one alpha of a female. Yes, that was pun intended. And she's the star of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. She is the original Alpha 5. My guest at this time is the one, the only, Ms. Romy J. Sharf. Romy, how are you today? Welcome.
Hi, everybody. I'm good. How are you?
How you doing?
How you doing?
Cute actress, not the voice actress.
Correct.
1 and 2.
Yep. And of course, we're all doing fantastic, and we're so honored and pleasure to have you here, Romy.
Cool. Thank you.
One of the first questions I have, we're going to dive right into the questions here, and that is, it's going to be a typical cliche question, and that is, how and when did you get your first big break into acting? Take us there.
I don't think I ever got my big break because I'm not doing it anymore, so there was no big break. I guess just Power Rangers, and that was about it. That was my only break. That was it.
But you were really, really good in that role.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Chris, you had a question?
Yeah, just a second. So, are there any methods or preparations you do before a role?
I guess it depends on the role. I mean, like for Alpha, it's not a very deep character. I didn't have to like go into any background of who Alpha really was deep down inside, where Alpha really came from. But, if it's something dramatic or even a comedic role, I like to do a little background and, figure out like who this person, what their past was, kind of. But for Alpha, you just drop on that terrible suit, on the helmet, just do robotic movement. That was about it.
Did you actually look into maybe like the original Japanese show and maybe you see if there was like something you could apply from that with like I don't know who would have been like the equivalent of Zordon's assistant or something like that?
No, I never. There was no Alpha character, but I didn't have anything to go off of it. I just kind of did my own. I didn't even know about the original footage when they cast me. I'd never seen it before.
I see.
And I want to ask you though, Romy, and this is going to be, I access to all my guest stars that were on acting wise though, but I'm going to put you in a scenario as an actress. And this is the raw emotion question. Now, I'm going to put you in a scenario where if you were doing a role, and in the role, you're playing this character in which you and your fellow co-star have to get into this heated argument as part of the script, as the scene is part. And then your co-star in that scene goes up to you and says, Miss Sharf, and they would say that because they have so much respect for you. They would say, Miss Sharf, this scene requires us to get into a very heated altercation. I had an idea to not only make it good storytelling, but also make it believable to the audience at home. Where, and I know it will sound weird, but I need you to lambast me and lay into me so hard that you can make me cry in frustration. If you were approached with this type of method, how would you react and what would you tell that co-star?
You want me to act that out? Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm asking if you were asked if the co-star asked you to try a method where you can scream at them or lambast them so hard that you can make them cry for real in order to do a good storytelling. How would you react to that method?
No problem. I'm there.
Okay. Wait,
Evil. What's that?
I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
No, I said it kind of fun, evil fun though.
We got plenty of those questions very soon.
Okay.
Kwame, your next question.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any memories of your first audition of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
Yeah,
Let's go, baby.
basically her office asked me to like do some robotic movement in the office and like read some lines and said, okay, that was great. We really like you. We're seeing a couple other people, but we'll let you know. That's about it. The rest is history.
Oh, okay.
Sweet.
Now Tyrone, you also had a question, right?
Yes. Okay, so Romy, I have a question here. Is how did it feel to work with cast and crew?
Everybody was really cool. We had a lot of fun together on that, and it was just nice. We all got along really well. Some days, were really long hours, and important at the end of the day. But it was still fun. Everybody was good.
Oh,
Nice.
I definitely had to ask you this question, Romy. Of course, you spend so many time in that wonderful, original, and so awesome design of a command center. What was it like working in that command center and working with David Fielden, aka Zordon?
Well, funny thing, I actually never worked with David Fielding, not once. He and I didn't even meet our Morphicon years later. So, yeah, he wasn't there. Reading his lines, basically, the script supervisor would just like read Zordon's lines, and then I would react and do my lines on that. But he and I never met. And Command Center was just cool. It was a lot of flashing lights and buttons to press, and it was pretty neat.
What did those buttons actually do? Like when you press them, like did they do something like cool? Like did they react like to something? Like did it do like a chain reaction?
Oh, not at all.
Oh.
No, it was me pressing a button, and yeah, that's about it.
Kwame, before you ask, I'm sorry, what were you gonna say, Romy?
No, everything was just in post-production to make it.
Okay, and Kwame, before you ask the next question, I did love like how like like the siren, and you had like when you had the crystal ball that you could see like what was going on. That was really cool. Like, just a big fan. But then again, that's like a big kid in me just saying that's really cool.
Yeah.
Kwame, your next question.
Okay. Did you portray Alpha in the famous episode Wannabe Rangers, where Alpha saved a little kid in the park from the monster Primitor? Primitor. Thanks.
Yeah, that was me, and I like that because I didn't get out of the command center very often, so it was kind of cool to be in a park with other humans around and not inside cooped up. So yeah.
Good.
Can I say, Romy, that I felt so bad for like Alpha in that episode when Primitor attacked him. Like it was like one of those scenes where you just garnered sympathy towards like the like someone like Alpha who's not a ranger, but he does his best to save like a child from being harmed.
Cool.
Yeah. Now I gotta ask you too, did you ever get to meet the voices of either Alpha 5 or 6, which was I believe Richard Horvitz and Wendy Lee respectively?
I actually just met Richard Horvitz like a couple months ago. So I mean, same with David Fielding. I never worked with Richard either on set. We hadn't met at any conventions, which was weird, but Pasadena Comic-Con, he and I finally met. Found out he was there. I went over, asked him, do I look all familiar? And he had no idea who I was. So it was pretty funny. But yep, introduced myself. He's like, oh, okay. That was kind of cool.
Very cool. Calista, your question? You gotta unmute your microphone, Callie.
We can't hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
She's on now.
Did you prefer Alpha 5 or Alpha 6? Which one did you consider to be your favorite of those two?
I don't know anything about Alpha 6, to be honest. So Alpha 5 all the way.
Oh, right. Right. I think 6 was PETA. It might have been PETA.
It was not PETA. PETA only did the movie.
No.
Oh, okay.
And I think when it switched to 6. So that might have been Donnie and Kistler,
Oh, okay.
but I'm not positive. Don't quote me.
No worries. Michael, your question?
Okay, first off, let me just say, besides from you, Romy, besides from the other Alpha 5, Sandy Sellner, shout out to you, Sandy, and your godchildren, Andros and Armani, say hello. You are one of my favorite alphas. My question is this: what was it like actually, filming in the command center, actually being around the other Rangers as Alpha?
It was cool, but at the end of the day, it was a job. That's all. I was happy to have an acting job. So at the time, in the very beginning, we didn't even know what the show was going to be, if anyone's even going to watch it. So, a cool job. That was about it.
Absolutely. And Callie, you had another question, right?
Yeah. What were the mechanics of the set of the command center?
There really weren't a lot of mechanics. It was just, like I said, a lot of just like flashing lights and buttons to push. But I mean, nothing really worked. Nothing really did anything. That was all post-op. It was all just like special effects, whatever you guys saw.
Watching one of those episodes just makes me feel like that kid again in 1993. So thank you for those memories, Romy. You definitely gave those wonderful memories for us growing up watching Power Rangers.
Hell yeah.
Tyrone, your question? I think Tyrone froze.
Yeah, I think Tyrone froze.
Yeah, he's frozen.
He'll get back to that question soon. In the meantime, Kwame, your question?
Okay. So, it's one of my questions I always ask anyway.
Yeah, wait. Before you do, let me just say, Romy, I wanted to ask this question so bad to you, but I'm gonna let my man here ask this question because it solidifies what person you are, and this is gonna be gonna make it be very flattering. So go ahead, Kwame, ask the question.
Sure thing. Oh, and Tyrone's not frozen now.
No, yeah, he'll ask the question after yours.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So, Romy, how does it feel to be an iconic legend?
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
You are to us.
You are. Don't deny it.
You are a legend.
Silly costume and played a silly character. I don't know why it's legendary or iconic or anything. It just that trips me. Yeah, it's weird.
Don't deny yourself.
It's just weird.
We're huge fans of yours, Romy.
Yeah.
Tyrone, now that you're not frozen, you want to ask your question?
No, I got it. Yes. What's your favorite moment on the set of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
It was probably the Christmas episode because all the kids came into the commands, and usually a pretty lonely place. Me and sometimes Power Rangers, so it was kind of cool, all these kids there, and then they were all shocked that I was actually a girl. Like nobody knew. I took off my helmet, like, oh, Alpha's a girl. Like they were in shock. So it was really
Yeah, I show my kids. I show my kids that Alpha special all the time.
Yeah.
Every Christmas, they're like Alpha. Especially my son.
I have just the VHS tape. I don't have a VCR. I can't even play the special. My daughter.
It's on YouTube.
Is it?
Yeah, there's a whole seat. They have every single episode of Power Rangers on YouTube. I'll actually send you the link to that so you can watch those episodes.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
They're all there.
Yep. Kwame, what's your awesome question again?
Sorry. Hold on a sec.
No worries, bro.
Crap ass kids.
Not to worry, bro.
Gotcha. Is it so many questions.
While you're looking for that question, I just want to say, Romy, like doing this episode, I felt like I was dealt the perfect hand, and in this case, I was dealt the right cards.
Ah, very nice.
The movie. Okay. I think I found my question. Okay.
Go ahead.
What's your favorite and least favorite part of the Alpha 5 costume? Was it that one?
That was the question.
Sweet.
Least favorite's probably the helmet because I couldn't see much, and it was
All right, 'cause it's just the two little holes, right?
Um,
Out of?
no, see a little bit, you know, where the red flashing lights were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, and I could see a little bit, like if I just glanced down, I couldn't like, you know, tilt my head or anything, but I could see a little bit down when I glanced down through the black fabric. Favorite part, probably the shoes. They were kind of comfortable, not gonna lie. It was all foam. It was like wearing they were huge and stupid looking, but they were comfortable at least.
At least they were comfortable.
Yeah. That's the only important part.
Oh yes.
Michael, your question?
Okay, speaking as a cosplayer,
And me too.
what was it like working in the Alpha 5 suit?
It was uncomfortable, it was hot, it was heavy. Give me back.
We're sorry you went through that.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that because whatever Power Ranger suit I have on, the helmet is so uncomfortable. It's hot.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I see. I can never fit a helmet on my head. I can never fit a helmet on my head because my dreads are too freaking long.
Same with my hair, brother.
Hey, someone consider that a
not the
blessing.
helmet. And Peter goes with the same thing as I do.
Same here, brother.
Wait,
Yeah.
a roster ranger. That would be
Thanks.
out of the helmet. Okay, you got a whole new thing.
Rasta Ranger. I like it.
Coco Rasta Ranger.
Why do I picture that perfectly now?
Kwame, you had another question too, right?
Oh, I did? Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Let me see if it's the right one. Was it the emotion one you wanted me to say?
No, I asked the wrong emotion question. If you don't remember, like we can go to Chris's question until you remember the question.
Okay. Let me see. Okay, I think it's this one. In any acting role you were able to do you prefer playing the good guy or the bad guy?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think that'd be kind of
because you don't fire that first shot because you're on the
so from my personality, I'm like help people do the right. It's kind of fun to, you know, play the opposite. So I would enjoy that. If anybody wants to give me I guess.
Chris, you had a question, right?
Yes. So, was there any acting role that you were able to do, and you prefer? Oh, somebody already took that one. Shit.
Oh yeah, sorry, my bad.
Don't worry about it. See, this is what I love about recording. Like you can always improvise with this.
True.
I'll actually...
Okay, I guess I'll take your question then, Pete. So, are there any funny behind-the-scenes stories that you can share in your experiences on the set of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
I do have a story. Not that it's necessarily funny, but it's kind of iconic and bizarre. So you guys are probably all too young, but the O.J. Simpson Bronco chase happened to be on TV, and we were filming that day, and I remember watching it in one of the guys' dressing rooms. I walled but one of them, dressing room, and I
get it ready.
chase the dressing room, and it was just weird and unbelievable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Michael, your question? Unmute yourself.
Give me 1 second. Oh my gosh.
Number 17, Michael.
What's your favorite monster from Power Rangers?
Yes.
I don't have one. I'm sorry. I don't have a favorite mom.
You don't have one. How comes?
I don't know.
That's okay. I don't blame you. No worries.
I work with any of the monsters, so yeah, they're not like super memorable to me, I guess.
Huh.
Monster of the week. Just another monster.
Now, Chris, before you ask your next question, I do have like a surprise to show you, Romy. And my show, like I always like to show like a bunch of surprises just to add more interest to it. So I want to show you a special book that my fiance bought for me for my birthday, and it's a very rare Morphicon book.
Oh yeah, I've
I
seen it.
need,
Yep,
I
and
need that book.
it's a really good book. Actually, you're in it. I believe this is your alpha too. I want to show you right now that page. It's right. Let me see this. Well, here's a artist's conception of it.
Mhm.
Oh gee.
I'm taking this book with me to Morphicon next year.
Everyone to sign it.
Oh, here we are. That's
Yeah.
you,
Yep.
right?
Me and Mark.
Yep, it's a.
I thought I had to share that surprise with you. And plus, we have plenty more surprises I'm going to show later on for you that's Power Rangers related.
Okay.
Chris, your next question, amigo. Oh, Mike has one. I have one.
Well, okay. And so, in terms of the villain or villainess, who do you prefer as possibly who you would consider the baddest? Rita Repulsa or Lord Zed?
I love Rita. Rita's badass. She's so cool. Barbara,
I'm sorry, what did you say?
just terrible.
I mean, she's so badass that every single Saturday morning or even after school, like in the afternoon, you always hear, "After 10,000 years, I'm free. It's time to conquer Earth." Chris, you had a back-to-back question, right? So this would be a preliminary question, right?
Oh, well, yeah. But I suppose before we got into that, one thing I was going to say, though, on the subject of Free Repulsa is that I wish they could have actually carried something over that was a bit bizarre from the Japanese show, the original Japanese show, in where she would actually come in certain scenes where she was riding the Wizard of Oz bicycle that she did in the original Japanese series. It was both funny and bizarre, and it was just both entirely fitting and hilarious of the entire series as a whole, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of over-the-top things that we can definitely recall from the series itself. I also wish that, like the Megazord as it formed was also able to talk, like it did in the Japanese series, but there was just like a lot of things that we saw in the Japanese version that just didn't make it over here in the US. And it's kind of tragic, but what are you going to do?
Yep.
Anyway, so on my next question here, have you ever been into the Pasadena Morphin, or sorry, the Pasadena Morphicon? And if so, have you? How many? And have you who both been to?
I've been to 2 Power Morphicons so far.
Are you going to be attending next year's Romy?
I plan to, yeah. I'm sure I'll be there.
Oh, cool! I get to meet the original Alpha 5.
Yay!
Yes.
And also you see my babies with me too.
Cool.
Actually, I think I remember there was like a video from one of the Power Morphicons for first responders, and I think you were in that video. Because I remember seeing, like, because it was so loud, they put closed captions, and I thought, like, your name, because I was like, who's this blonde lady? So it's glad that they had the closed captions. So,
I have to, and Callie, it's your turn to ask the next question.
What's your favorite Morphicon moment, if you have one?
Let's see. I guess, well, I met Sandy Selner at my first Power Morphicon, so it was kind of cool. She and I had never met before. Special, and she and I took pictures together. And then David Yost was there too, and I hadn't seen him. Walter Jones was there again years. So the first Power, it was kind of like a little reunion, and then meeting people that I knew about but I'd never met before. So it was really cool. I like that.
Oh, okay. And we have a couple more questions before we wrap up, Romy. And one of the final questions we have, Kwame, you have one of your final questions, and it's when we ask every single Power Ranger star we bring on. So,
Okay.
what's that question?
What teachings or important lessons have left you during your time in Power Rangers?
Oh goodness. Don't wear giant flying saucers on your head.
They're heavy. They're heavy.
Keep your batteries fresh, so your lightning bolt's always nice and bright. And try and sneak props or parts of the costume home with you.
Yes.
Bless your heart, Romy. I was
Yeah.
waiting for somebody to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now I
didn't-
kind of want to know, like, if you did take anything from the set.
I didn't, I swear.
Ah, that'd be cool.
I know nothing.
I have a couple of questions before we wrap up here. And
Okay.
this one is, I access, like Kwame with that question, I access every single Power Ranger star that comes on the show. And that is, what do you think of the impact that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers has had on new generation of fans now that we're coming to 30 years of its anniversary? Oh, and I'm so proud to say that because I love Power Rangers so much. So what do you think of the impact that it's caused on new generations of fans 30 years after its release?
It's kind of mind-blowing. It's weird that it's lasted this long and that, you know, fans still come out to meet us. I mean, you know, when I first started on the job, just had no clue. You know, a job was a gig. 30 years later, it's just, it trips me that I can go all over the world and people know of it. They've seen it. They meet us. I mean, I was in Malta last year and, you know, this tiny island and people know about Power Rangers. Came out to, it's cool. Just a little.
Awesome stuff. And now I'm going to sound like a real nerd. I mean, this is a gag question we ask every single guest star on the show. And I'm going to sound like a total nerd asking this question. Whenever I'm not on a strict military-like diet, I am an absolute foodie. And I know Power Rangers is a big production company, so I was just wondering what the catering scene like was on the set of Power Rangers. And did you have a particular favorite meal?
That's funny. Constant snacks. We had craft service, would just like set up donuts and bagels and fruit and all kinds of stuff in the morning and coffee. And then, I mean, I don't remember specific like lunches or dinners, but I mean, they fed us continuously. In fact, I had to kind of put myself on a rice cake banana diet for a little while because my spandex is a little tight, so I better cut it. So yeah, it was a lot of good food. It was nice.
You are like the 11th person that said craft service. Like craft was the best thing about catering, though. Like I've had a lot of guest stars on the show, and they all, at least majority of them, like I would say at least 40 or 50% of them, all say craft.
I mean, it's what actors live for, craft service.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I do love Velveeta cheese, so I do love craft products.
Listen, I'm a cheese guy. I'm from New York City. I love
Me
cheese.
too.
Let's go.
I think you missed. It's not the craft.
Listen, I love me some Kraft, Velveeta. Let's see. The list goes on, especially the mozzarella. I'm sorry.
It's not KRAFT. It's not the brand Kraft, like macaroni and cheese. Craft service is what like every production company has, and it's CRAFT.
Oh.
And there's some just like for everyone, and it's just called Craft FT service.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yes.
Before I ask my final question, and before we get into the surprises, though, I'm going to ask my co-hosts for this evening their final comments before we get to the fun part, and then we conclude.
Like arts and crafts.
Yeah, so we'll start with Kwame. Kwame, any final comments for the legendary Romy Sharf?
Yeah. Thanks for making our childhood so awesome. And also, before we forget, has any of you seen the 30th anniversary yet? You know, Power Rangers Once and Always yet?
Yes.
Good. Me too. Me
This
too.
guy right here.
Good. Me too.
Listen. I've seen it. My kid's seen it. My niece seen it. My nephew's seen it. My sister-in-law seen it. I made her cry.
It brought tears to my eyes.
Yeah, me too. I
Alas,
nearly cried too, but it just
Good
brought
for
so
my
many
God.
good memories back to all of us.
Yes.
Yeah. And I wasn't even born yet, so.
True. Well, I
It's
mean,
so
most
nice.
of us weren't.
And I just think that I just really think it was no, I just felt like so bad for David Yost, like back in the late 90s, like he kind of left because he was homosexual. So I'm bisexual, so I kind of felt represented when I heard that.
Yeah.
That's awesome though, Callie. And
yeah,
Christopher, Patty, your final comments for Romy?
Well, Romy, yeah, definitely thank you for coming on the show, and definitely thank you for your role in Power Rangers. You made an impact in our lives, and it's just, yeah, something that we've always needed to like have, I guess, as a bit of a solace and to escape from school life, as it were, and how tough it could be at times.
Those are good. You get it.
Michael, your final comments?
Well, honestly, you've been an impact. You know, I'm a 94 baby.
Me too, man.
You've been an impact not on just my life, but on my things being stupid. You've been an impact not only my life, but my children's lives, and my niece, my nephews,
and your sister-in-law.
Yes, and my sister-in-law. I told her that I'm interviewing. I told her I was gonna help interview. She's like, lucky.
Callie, your final comments?
Thank you just so much for and I know you didn't really meet him, or well, you might have, but our hearts go out to you after the loss of both Twee and JDF. So.
Oh, I met him. I worked with him. I knew them both really well. And thank you.
Hard hearing. Yeah. But his last film is actually coming out later this year.
Yeah. No.
Like I think it comes out Labor Day week around his birthday. So I think that'll be like a nice little sentiment for him.
Yeah, absolutely. For the fans alone.
I want to say to Romy that before we conclude and before we get to the surprises, I just want to say thank you for not only this incredible interview. I mean, I've been a fan of your work for a very, very, very long time. And not only thank you for this amazing interview, but thank you for those memories you gave, not just me, but to Christopher, Kwame, Michael, and Callie, and Tyrone, who was having issues with his computer and unfortunately was able to join the rest of us. But yeah, we're so honored to talk to you, and we're very we appreciate you. And we might as well call the show the Romy the Romy J. Sharf Appreciation Show, because we want to show our appreciations for you.
You guys are fun.
And not only that, but I have a surprise here. I want to show you how far I go back with Power Rangers. This is the same lunchbox that I had in kindergarten. It's signed by Sabrina Liu, played Scorpina, and Walter Jones. That was one of the surprises, and I have a couple of pictures I wanted to show you before we wrap up here, of how far I've been a huge Power Ranger fan, so much like my guest, my co-host this evening. So yeah, so this is as far as I go back. Hold on. This is me on Halloween as the Red Ranger. 1994. Me and my
actual helmet.
This is me with my sister with our Power Ranger pillow.
Aww.
I see it.
And then this is my sister and my friend, her friends, and me with my Billy doll. And this one, like I showed you before, the lunchbox. There's me on my first day back at work after COVID, first day of kindergarten.
Wow.
Classic Peter, modern Peter.
And this one in honor of Jason David Frank. I was always a Tommy fan growing up.
Yeah.
Mhm. Oh,
I
and
think we all-
just
I think-
sorry, just add to that too.
Yep, Kwame has a surprise for you too, Romy.
Just add to that as well, guys. I always have him on my shelf, so I can always have him watching over me.
Cool. Awesome.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
And
I can. As long as I have this, Tommy will never be gone or forgotten ever.
Right.
Well, technically, he's still not gone.
I know he's with us right now. I
I
can
know,
feel the
but
spirit.
We also have Michael Gatto. So technically, Tommy is still alive.
we have two different versions of Tommy's like with us. And I just want to say before we conclude, Romy, that of course I'm going to send you a copy of this interview as soon as I'm done editing it, which will be
Okay.
definitely tonight. I'm going to have it all done tonight, so you'll have a full edited version of this. And
And you'll take out the part where I left and came back in, right? You'll just take that part out.
yeah, sure.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And also, my final question for you is, what is next for Romy J. Sharf? Now, this is a part of the show where every single guest star I have, this is an open forum. This is the part where you can talk about, say anything you want. It's like open mic night. And speaking of that, I'm going to hand you over the proverbial microphone right now. So the floor is yours, Romy.
What's next for me? Dinner. I'm actually kind of hungry.
That's it. That's it.
Dinner.
Yeah. Cheers for dinner.
Girls gotta eat.
Dinner.
Absolutely. And one last thing before we conclude, and I've been waiting a long time to do this for you because as a longtime fan of yours, and I feel like you deserve it. And that is, thank you, Romy.
Romy.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Romy.
Romy.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Romy.
Oh, you guys are telling me you're funny.
Thank you so much for a great interview, and I cannot wait to meet you at Morphin. Much like every star there, I am going to be so starstruck to finally meet you, to meet a lot of these stars from my guest of yours.
Honestly, this Morphicon will be my very first Morphicon.
Mine too.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I hope I
but-
make it next. I hope next year I can be there. I hope.
Listen. All I'm gonna say is, for Peter and myself, they need to have a Power Ranger convention out here in New York City.
Yes.
Yes.
Go do that. Make
Same
it happen.
here. Same here.
I'd love to go to New York City.
Me
That'd be
too. I mean, I have to fly there.
The Hudson Valley will be great because I'm in the Hudson Valley. It takes forever for me to get down to the city. Ugh.
Like, honestly, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. Like right now, my babies are in Florida with their grandparents right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure if they were here. What's wrong with my computer? I'm sure if they were here, they would come to the computer and wave hi.
Cool. All right. Tell them
Thank you again so much for coming on, Romy. It was such an honor and pleasure. You have an awesome night and enjoy your dinner.
Thank you. Yes.
Have a great night, everyone.
You too, Peter.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.
See you.